Well, what is happening, everyone? Welcome back for another episode of the Chamber Podcast. My name is Rob Johnson. So we have a very special show for you today. Joining me on a remote link, Lynette Richardson. She serves as the Industry Engagement Coordinator at Washtenaw Community College. Lynette, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rob. Thank you for inviting Workforce Development. We are excited to be here today, so thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So certainly at a college level, I know a lot of people, if they're not as familiar with the collegiate experience and how that works, it's largely a question of transition. How do college students transition from a collegiate environment into a professional environment? And I know colleges are doing more and more from an academic to professional transition perspective to prepare kids for what it's like. And I say kids, but like young adults, for what it's like for them to move into a professional setting. So Lynette, if you can just kind of walk me through your background, maybe a day in the life, and then we'll get into more about how workforce development is helping with training and getting kids ready for the next step.
Okay, so my background, I have a little bit of everything in my background. I've worked in sales, I've worked in the court system, I've worked in a collegiate background before, so I have a little bit of everything back there. But I'm currently serving in the role, as you indicated, as the Industry Engagement Coordinator for WCC Workforce Development. And what we do is engage with employers in the business community to help them upskill their incumbent workers or new hires and help them strategize how to retain those employees to bring back excitement, reignite their commitment to their employer for professional development.
Excellent. So practically speaking, what does that look like if we had, just say, an example, ABC company? What does that look like from your perspective to go in there and prepare them and help them with that process?
So normally what we like to do, Rob, is meet with the employer and find out what their needs are. We like to get to know them, their mission, what their goals are, and just get a feel for the company culture and find out or discover what their needs are so that our team can come back, sit down, review what we heard the employer say. We create a plan to share with the employer based on what we heard them say. And so that way we are on the same page with the employer that what we heard them say is what they need. And then we create a customized training program to help them reach their goals and objectives for that particular need that they may have. So for instance, if someone have employees who are transitioning from regular staff to, say, supervisors. So we want to first find out from the employer, what does that look like for them? And what are you expecting that new staff that's transitioning to a new position, what are you expecting them to get? What do they need to learn that they can come back and apply right away? And so once we find out or discover from that employer what that looks like I said, we build that training, a customized training program to make that happen. We also use faculty who are professionals in various industries. As you know, here at the college, we have access to those individuals. And so we will partner with a faculty member to conduct that training. And we have that faculty member come in, sit down and talk with us, the employer, to make sure that the goals of that training and the content are being met, so that when the employee returns, they can apply the skills that they've learned right away and also be the best employee in that new position that they have been appointed to.
What's been the initial impact of the program and what results have you seen thus far?
We have a lot of employers that we work with. So the impact could be different from each employer. So it depends on the type of customized training that's being delivered. But we hope that the overall impact is that the employer has a new skill, has been excited about going into their new role, if that's what it is, or that they've been upskilled, maybe some additional training that they need. So the impact really is to have a more sophisticated, trained employee who will now be retained as opposed to keep hiring someone. So the success of the program, I believe, is for the employer and the employee, because if it's for if our training, our customized training is for an employer who is training their incumbent workers, then the incumbent worker actually is at an advantage because they are being upskilled. They have this investment from their employer. And so that really helps with retaining that employee. Now, if it's a new employer, that also excites the employee because now not only do they have a new job, but they are also being invested in by the employer, which is going to also help them be committed to the organization that they're being hired by. And then that makes for a great community of individuals in these companies, professional development, where the program, it can be a fast track training, it could be a boot camp type training. It can be as long as the employer needs it to be.
I really like this initiative largely because I don't know how you feel, Lynette, but I think that organizational development surrounding how to make the workforce, I'll say, more enjoyable for people coming into the professional field. It's such an underserved area, and it's something that I don't think a lot of business owners, especially startups, and even business owners who've been around for a long time, spend a lot of time developing, because there's so many new things that can be done in the market to make a workforce or a new company more attractive for prospects to come in as a new associate. And I think if there was a lot more time spent on the benefits for the employees, there'd be a lot less turnover, which would lead to a lot more success for the business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And that's why, for us, customized training is critical, because when you design a program that is going to benefit those employees, you're investing back in them. And people, I think they work harder, they're more committed when they feel that the company is investing in them. That makes them feel more committed to the company.
Absolutely. And largely it's surrounding culture. And I know the longer that you've been in the business world, or really in the job market, the more I think culture plays a role in the place that you want to be long term. If some place has a poor culture and a poor environment, the people aren't going to want to be associated with that. They're going to go somewhere else.
Right.
And the more that organizations like yours and really just awareness for these things, the more awareness that can be raised, overall, the better it's going to be for the job market and for the new people coming into relationship with businesses. It's going to be better for everybody.
Right. Because again, once you build up your community and you strengthen them through either, whether it's academic, knowledge, whether it's through professional development, that builds up your community, which makes for a better county, a better workforce. And so you get a healthier community that way.
We don't have to go into any names or specifics, but do you have any anecdotes or a favorite story or something that sticks out from your time of being involved with the program?
I would say our boot camps have been a really great asset to the community, because we have taken individuals who were unemployed, maybe underemployed, even during COVID, and started programs that really benefited them and their families. And so these participants were able to get training, get skilled, and move on to better paying jobs through those boot camps.
Excellent. That's excellent. So as we're looking here, we're sitting here in early 2024. As far as what's on the horizon, is there anything that employers need to be aware of, or how they might be able to get involved, or new developments that are coming with the program over the next year?
Yes. Employers can contact us for customized training, and at 734-973-3681. We are always willing and excited to talk to employers in the business community. And sometimes employers may not necessarily need training with us, but again, they may be looking for internships, apprenticeships. We do have job fairs here for our employers in the surrounding communities to participate in. So we're always willing to talk and make ourselves available to employers to find out what their workforce challenges are. And so they may not have workforce challenges. Maybe what they may need is just training, skill up for their employees. So that may not necessarily be a challenge for them, but just they don't know where to go to look for that customized training. And so we're always doing customized training. We do have some programs here that we run that any employer or multiple employers can participate in. So, such as a leadership training, we conduct CDL training here. We have bring calm to conflict training. So we can create any type of training that an employer needs. Those are some trainings that are customized for employers, but any employer can join those trainings as well.
I love it. That's fantastic. It's good to know that that type of service exists to help support the business community. And if you're listening and you want to know how to get involved with WCC's workforce development, make sure to take a look at the show notes of today's episode, and you'll find the number that Lynette had read, as well as their contact information in the show notes as well. Anything else before we wrap up today, Lynette?
You know, Rob, you asked a question about emerging topics that are coming to light, and right now we're looking at the AI platforms, and we see everybody kind of jumping on board and trying to create curriculum or trying to create something relative to that. What we're looking at right now is that CEO, COO, somebody in the top of rung of the organization, to just give them the basics. What should they be looking for, and how do we help them develop their managers or supervisors in regard to AI, how to create efficiencies in the workplace? But starting at the top and looking at how a CEO might want to look at this from the top down. So we're currently working on that. We're putting a business plan together, and hopefully you'll be able to launch that within the next month.
Fantastic. I love that. If you need any help on that, let me know.
Okay. Yes, we do.
Who you're hearing right now, that's the voice of Marilyn Kapp. She's the interim director at WCC's Workforce Development. I love that, though, the conversation. AI is a massive mover right now. And, I mean, interestingly enough, it has been for the last 10 years, but right now everyone is focused on it with public-facing apps like ChatGPT and Bard. I could talk about it for hours, but it's a fantastic topic.
Right, especially at higher ed. People are kind of upside down about it right now. It's like, okay, how do you pick part of it and say, okay, we'll carve this out and develop something here, and then let it just snowball or take an organic approach to what we do next.
Yeah. Ethical AI has been a conversation I've spoken on quite a bit. People are trying to figure out how to navigate AI and how to use it from a practical and ethical perspective. It's a great conversation.
Do you find that, I find when I bring it up, there's a lot of fear involved. It's like, I think that for us, that's like, okay, let's take the fear out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. People are terrified of AI and what that means for job creation or job growth, if that's going to be a factor as time goes on. And from my perspective, it's going to do nothing but help job growth and job creation in the right direction.
And that's why we thought to start with the high level executives first to inform them, because there's so much information out there about AI that either is false, is true. And so we want to be able to share with them what it looks like, what you can expect, how it might affect your business growth, your business just as a business. And so kind of take some of that fear out of there.
Well, ladies, I certainly appreciate your time on the show today. Anything else before we wrap up?
Well, I would say, Rob, the one important thing we do want our employers to know in the community is that we offer customized training for employers, and that we are here to service them, because without them, workforce development could not exist.
I love it. Well, hopefully a lot more employers become involved and collaborative in that process so it can be the absolute best product for new people entering into the workforce.
Yes. Thank you for inviting us to the show. And we, again, invite any employer who has questions or want additional information to please contact us at the number 734-973-3681.
Appreciate it. Thank you both. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Chamber Podcast. I appreciate all of you watching. We'll be back next week with a new episode. Take care.